Yes, brother, most welcome. Walaikum assalam.
If we read the modern history of Islam, let's say, for example, from the time
No problem. I'll repeat the question. You can say, brother.
from the time of the British conquest of Egypt, it seems that during the colonial period, Muslims did a better job of organization and educating one another with less technology than they do today. Can you possibly explain why this is?
The brother has asked the question that in modern history, for example, Egypt, he said,
contemporary writers, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, tend to start what they consider to be the modern period of Islamic history with the British conquest of Egypt in the 1880s.
no, the brother said that in modern Islamic history, example Egypt, when we were under colonial rule by British, etc., we did more progress. After that, we came down. Why is it so? Brother, if you analyze that the media is being controlled by the non-Muslims, mainly by the Westerners. So what they teach us, we hear. We may not know whether it's the truth or not. The Western media says that from the 8th century till the 11th century, it was the Dark Ages. Dark for whom? It was dark for the Westerners. In fact, science was at its peak. With the limited resources, the amount of advancement the Arabs made, they were at the top. But because it was dark for the Westerners, they said it's the Dark Age. It was not the Dark Age. With the limited resources, with the limited equipment that we had, the amount the Arab scholars, alhamdulillah, they progressed is phenomenal. But people don't know about them. For example, blood circulation. If you ask a normal layman, who had discovered it? Most of them will say William Harvey. 1,000 years after the Quran was revealed. But they don't know that 400 years before William Harvey, Ibn Nafis had talked about the blood circulation. But no one knows Ibn Nafis, everyone knows William Harvey. See, astronomy was at its peak at the time. If you analyze, you can give a talk only on the achievement made by the Muslims much before, that's in the 8th to the 11th century. For example, Al-Idrusi, he drew the map of the world in 1154, when people thought the world was flat. Everyone knows Pythagoras theorem. Who discovered it? Al-Ibtusi, that the square of the hypotenuse of a triangle is equal to the sum of the other two sides of the triangle. Who discovered it? Who knows about Al-Kindi? Al-Kindi, he was a famous philosopher as well as astronomer. When people like Descartes and Newton and Galileo said that all physical laws are absolute, Al-Kindi said that it was relative. Later on, Albert Einstein, he took the theory of Al-Kindi and did more research and talked about the theory of relativity. He got a Nobel Prize. Everyone knows about Albert Einstein, no one knows about Al-Kindi. Muhammad Shakir Ahmad, these three brothers, they set the exact surface area of the earth by measuring a degree at the Red Sea. No one knows about them. In chemistry, if you know Jabir ibn Hayyan, known as Geber by the Western world, he wrote 2,000 pages on chemistry. He discovered alcohol. Alcohol is the Arabic word coming from al-gul, meaning spirit. Same with Muhammad Zakaria Razi. He was an authority in the disease of smallpox and measles. Ibn Sina, known as the Aristotle of the East, he wrote 2 volumes, The Disease and the Cure. We were very much advanced, but because the media is in their hand, we don't know about it. But I also partly agree with you, brother, that we Muslims today aren't advancing. You know why? Because we have gone away from our religion. We have gone away from the Quran. And the reason the Westerners are advancing, the answer is same, because they have gone away from their religion. Muslims have become backward because they have gone away from our religion. The Westerners have become advanced because they have gone away from their religion. The answer is the same. So if you analyze, we Muslims, alhamdulillah, previously we were close to the Quran. Now we are going away from the Quran. So if we stick to the Quran and the Sahih Hadith, inshallah, once again we'll be on the top. Hope that answers the question. I mean, if there are questions from sister's side, they can give it on a chit of paper, and inshallah we'll have one from gents, one from sister's side. Women's role in society, are they allowed to work? If yes, Under what condition? I have given this answer in detail in my video cassette, Women's Rights in Islam Modernizing Outdated. The question posed was, can a woman work in Islam? And if yes, under what condition? First, you should realize that the financial obligation in a family is laid on the shoulder of the man. Before a woman is married, it's the duty of the father and the brother. And after she's married, it's the duty of the husband and the son to look after her boarding, lodging, clothing, and all financial aspects. She is financially more secured than the male. So a woman in Islam need not work. She does not have to work for a living. Someone else, that is the male in the family, looks after her financial aspect. But if there is any problem in the family where both the ends don't meet, she can work. Not that she has to work. No one can force her to work. But if she wishes out of free will, she can work. But natural, the work she does should be within the purview of the Islamic Sharia. There is no text in the Holy Quran saying that a woman cannot do any lawful work. The work that she does should be within the purview of the Islamic Sharia. But natural, she should have the Islamic hijab, she should be modestly dressed up, and there should not be intermingling of the sexes. If she's working in any area, the best is preferable that there should be segregation of the sexes. Segregation of the sexes. Like if there is a factory which has different places of work for men and for the women, that's very good, alhamdulillah. If they're working in a common place, there should be a level of hijab. That unnecessary talking should not be there. Unnecessary talking. And she should be in a modesty level. The way she behaves, she should wear the Islamic hijab. That's very much required. Otherwise, she can work at home also. She can do pottery, she can do weaving, she can do knitting. She can even work in factories, as I said, following the Islamic Sharia. She can also do business. The best businesswoman at the time of the Prophet was his wife, Bibi Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her. She was a very successful businesswoman. In today's age, if a woman wants to do business, she can do business. Preferable if she does it through her husband or a son or a father or a brother. She should maintain the Islamic hijab. And whatever she earns, she need not spend a single pie on her family or even on herself. She can invest that full amount if she wants. If she wants to willingly spend on the family, she has a right. And if she doesn't want to work, even if the family is poor, no one can force her. It's the duty of the husband to look after her lodging, boarding, and all financial aspects. We require in today's age that some of our sisters should become doctors, should become gynecologists, should become teachers. Because if I want my wife that when she goes to a doctor, I prefer that she should go to a female doctor, then why don't we make our sisters the doctors? We don't want to make our women folks educated, but we want our wife to go to a lady doctor. It's hypocrisy. So, but natural work is allowed, but within the Islamic Sharia. Hope that